you alright? Thank goodness. Okay. Baby, let me tell you. The amount of interference that is going on right now is getting on my last nerve. I gotta be honest. I gotta keep it out. I gotta keep it a bean, baby. I had a whole thing set up, and I'm doing a different route because I'm not gonna sit and struggle. And yeah, I mean, I'm scrolling through the tarot card now to find all the tarot cards that snake on it. And I went on the Nine of Swords the second I said that. I'm not gonna trap myself in my fucking head and be delirious and oh my god, I can't do that. Fuck that, man. I got knowledge to teach, yo. So we're gonna talk about a lot, and I need to move my phone over. I'm sorry. The camera's not gonna be the best. I did not I was not prepared to record like this, but we're gonna do it anyway. We have a lot to talk about. We have word magic. We have the 13th month. We're gonna start off with the 13th month though. There is just so much that I have been not really discovering or recovering, but just coming to terms with. It's stuff that not many people have like talked about, but since it hasn't been talked about, not many, revelations have been made from it. But what I was figuring out, I'm gonna be reading off half script. I'm gonna have like stuff I'm gonna be showing you. I'm literally gonna be showing you like photos and shit I have on my computer. Like I had a whole thing set up. It was gonna be crazy, but we dial it down a little bit. You know what I mean? We'll dial it down. But the so when I was researching, I was figuring out the reason we don't have the 13th month, or the reason it's missing. And the 13th month is named Soul, being for the summer solstice. The Soul month was literally the month to take up the summer solstice as it begins on the 1st of June, and it was going to go from June to Soul to July. And that was the summer solstice at first. But it's not acknowledged, or it doesn't exist because of a lot of time manipulation. There's been a lot of time manipulation. If you've even done if you even took history in high school or middle school, you know about the time manipulation. It goes back to Julius Caesar and his weird shit where he wanted to remove a month and then remove days off of shit, and then the Catholics remove days off of October. We're gonna talk about all that shit, but to go in order, we're going to talk about Julius Caesar, because in 45 BC, Julius Caesar ordered a 12-month calendar based off the solar year, which is kind of weird, but they'd be the solar year whenever Sol is the 13th month. So why would you remove that? And we'll get to that again, because I figured a lot of this shit out. It's pretty cool. But also known as the Julian calendar. And here is the Julian calendar. That's the Julian calendar days, the months. It's kind of blurry. I'm sorry. I can't really do much about that. And I can't really help the shaky either. My apologies for that. But as well here, you can also see the 13th month in 1982, where Sol is. Where's my cursor, bro? I can't even see. It's right here. Sol's right here, an extra month. You see that? The 20th here, 21st. Right here is when summer solstice starts. 29th is the leap year. And then you have here the solar solstice month, Sol. And as well as here, you can see the calendar as well in this. But I'll just let you all look at those for a minute. And excuse my palm. Excuse the palm. But yeah. The Julian calendar moved the beginning of the year from March 1st to January 1st, which I didn't know at first. That kind of surprised me when I was doing research, and I was looking up, and it does. And that in itself speeds up time to the collective conscious, because we think that, because a lot of people consider the beginning of the years in the spring, because that's when things start coming back to life. And we're stuck in this energy where we consciously think and subconsciously think and agree to that since January is the beginning of the year, we have a mid dark period between January and March, which is usually why up until April it's usually depressing shit, or weird exiles happening. It's the dark night of the soul months, you know what I mean? It's because we're so used to being in sync with nature. Whenever nature blooms, we bloom. If we bloom too early, we have a chance to be took out, or we won't grow to our full potential, which is like the whole thing. The time manipulation has a lot to do with maturity, with a lot of mental development, a lot of emotional development, just a development within the self. Because since we're so attached to nature, since we are beings of nature, since we are made, 9 ether, 6 ether beings, whoever you are, goddesses, gods, queens, kings, whomever, you, even if you're just here, you know what I mean? You resonate with the frequency of nature, or you wouldn't be experiencing nature. You wouldn't be living or even inhabiting the things that nature makes. You wouldn't be able to be here, period, because you wouldn't be within the laws of physical nature rather than the laws of spiritual nature, which is two different things. They coincide, but they're two different things. But because we see in the spring, it bleeds us to like a depressive mood where we think things aren't going anywhere because of the stagnancy that we get stuck in. It's this weird, like, you can pay attention to, like, it's weird mental games that go on with this calendar shit. But the calendar was revamped and edited many times. In 1937, they made the calendar that we know today. And sadly, the only thing of the calendar that we have now that relates to its original origins are the first 28 days of January. Like the first 28 days of January are the only like original non-messed with days. Because when they took that month out, that's when, oh, well, let's do all things, let's do all these certain things. We have April Fool's Day, which is like not even a thing. Like, when you do, I haven't done a full research on it, but from what I found out about April Fool's Day, it's not even like, it's just like a joke on humanity, basically. Like, haha, we took all this shit from you, don't even realize it yet. But not only that, but in 1582, October lost 10 days to bring the vernal equinox from March 11th back to the 21st for some reason. And the church chose to do this in October to not interfere with any major Christian events. Which is kind of weird. Not really weird. I say weird, you know what I mean by weird. But regardless, it was an understanding from this understanding alone, you can even see this with Saturn, and Saturn being the father of time, that literally the rulers, the Roman Empire, I'm just gonna throw their name out there because fuck it, we got to the fucking the Pope and them, everyone, like where all the money is because they control the time. And what is time? Time is a currency, what we use and we mentally see as a currency rather than a tool. And we see money as a tool rather than a currency. Where we use these things as such, which is why they are able to have that type of power. They're literally playing God, trying to play God, basically. And we all know this by now, but it's something that when you really start looking at it, you can see where it started. You can understand from these things, because not only does messing with the calendars mess up like time and like bodily shit, it messes up history. So now you have this whole thing where we believe we're in 2024. No, we're not. How long has this earth been here? It has been here more than 2024 years, dude. I don't know if that's like a wake-up call to someone or not, but like this earth has been a lot, like around, it's been here for more than 2024 years. I don't know why we like collectively just kind of morph in and agree. I mean, other than just brainwashing and indoctrination, but like we just already just basically agree, like, yeah, it's 2024. The earth is like 2024 years old, even though we understand like BC AD and then CE. What is it? BC and then it's like something else. I think it's DE or something. I don't remember all and shit, but they literally cut time in half, making us think that it's so weird. It's so fucking deep. It's so deep because the people who were messing with this understood the concept of time, of it being literally a time band. Once you go back so far, it's going to repeat and go forward. That's what the Mayans were warning us about, and that's why everyone thought the world was going to end in 2012. It wasn't. What the Mayan calendar was trying to warn us about was in 2016, the world was going to change and it's not going to fucking go back to where it was. That's what the Mayan calendar is telling you. Is the end of the world as we know it was in 2016. We're becoming more spiritual. The dark age of man is falling off. The rising of divine, of the collective, of the ethereal beings is coming present. Like it's even being talked about now, and even at my guides even are even talking to me about it too. Is like in 20 like 2025 is going to be crazy. 2026 or 2027 is going to be the year of like actual contact of extraterrestrial. Like we're gonna have to really sit down and bite our nails and be okay with other beings existing on this earth in like 3 years. I'm not even joking. Because 2025. Because here's the thing. Look at these events. We have new moons coming soon. We have Odin's Eye, basically a second moon. That's what they're calling. You know who Odin is. If you don't know who Odin is, do your research definitely, because that tells you a lot about what's going on. Why Odin's even looking here. And then you have Anubis in 2025, the asteroid flying by Earth, the closest it's ever been. Why are we being expected by so many objects? I'm gonna call them objects that we have named after beings of supreme power, of war and rebirth and destruction and life. Why do those exact objects have to be the closest that they've ever been, and why do they have to happen almost in that type of area? Because we're going from the spiritual awakening, we're going to the two moons. And speaking about the two moons, expect a lot of aggravation. People are going to be pissed off. This is going to be a lot of energy with the two moons. I'm just telling you, I've been feeling the energy. Today was been the worst. I like crashed out today. It was awful, but we regained ourselves and we're all good. But the aggression, the energy, to just give people grace and patience, because they don't like listen. It's something. It's not even something people can really understand or control. People are just gonna be antsy and pissed off and bitchy, and you just gotta sit there and laugh at it. Like, don't laugh at them, but laugh at it, because the two moons are crazy. But that's the purging, because we have this eclipse that we're still getting over, and then we got that. And there's so many astrological events, and just even looking at the main two planets right now. Like the heaviest planets, Neptune and Saturn and Jupiter are fucking out, and Mars is out, Venus is out too. It's like, dude, do you see what's going on? It's an internal change so we can actually get an external value, because there's been so many people on the path of like enlightening and trying to wake up that energy is becoming more conscious, is becoming more background. So now the body has to change, because the body's now aware of what's going on rather than the soul being aware of what's going on. But that's just something to be aware of as well. Just being easy with yourself as well with aggravation, because Jesus, man, it's rough out here. But Saturn, the father of time, is basically being mimicked in this, and the reason why is because the law of Saturn is, governs the laws of time, of most physics, because most physics rely off time based off how we calculate it. We take time as distance. It takes this amount of whatever to get there. We see time as distance. You know what I mean. And a lot of these people that were messing with the calendars understood the impact of the planetary system on the body, and the fact that we were ruled under Saturn, which is also like wordplay for Satan or Lucifer, whatever, because it's the ruling of time, the ruling of the material. The time is material. Time defines material. Things within time will disintegrate, and whoever is made in time will be destroyed by time. Just how it is. But they knew that they would have limited time to keep this going, which is why the calendar switched up so much. That's why so many people did so many things, and that's why now, with all these people waking up and seeing the truth, now you have all these weird shit going on. Now you have the divine prophecies breaking out, with Diddy being arrested. Everyone's getting fucking busted. It's the awakening, like it's happening, but you can kind of see how they're still trying to use Saturn and these cosmical events to kind of steer you away. You even pay attention to social media, because I've been doing it heavily too. Ooh, I got my Palo Santo went off. I don't know how this went on. I don't know how it went on fire. It just did. Let's just roll with it. Thank you, Spirit. You know what? I'm used to it. It's whatever. Thank you, Spirit. I don't know. Whatever. Thank you. It's never happened before, but we're just gonna move on from it. I don't know where I was at. That really just like wiped me clean. I've never had my Palo Santo light itself on fire before, ever. Thank you, Spirit, for just being here. Thank you. Oh my God. I guess I'm not supposed to be talking too much about that right now. But Yeah, as we okay, I was already talking about that. As we all know, things grow in time, but things that are rushed aren't good. Um, and what better way to ruin improvement and production subconsciously and consciously, if if constant pressure is applied, you know what I mean? And that's kind of what they're doing with social media, with all these things, with all these happenings, these events. They're trying to like scare you because they're new events. You know what I mean? Like we had that huge fucking eclipse and the green fucking moon. Like y'all know, if y'all know, we'll talk about it sooner, later, sooner. Well, sooner than later, hopefully. But all these events are supposed to strike up this fear so that it weighs you down, so that when this new energy comes, it brings on that extra energy, makes you feel more fearful to step forward. It's really the awakening, the burst through the life that everyone's been wanting to happen for a while. Um, that's going on right now with the corruption of, Hollywood's falling down, like everyone's finding out these secrets again. It's just the occult's coming back to where it needs to be, at the forefront, not fucking hidden. I mean, yeah, they're hidden, but it's hidden knowledge because it's hidden within you, and it shouldn't be hidden from your eyes. It should be hidden from your heart for first. You have to dig through your heart to find this knowledge, and break open those boundaries to be open to it. Um, but regardless, yeah. But changing the calendar removed a lot of historic facts and artifacts. And also gave people full dictation over what can be limited in that sense, because it's like with time being limited, I don't know, it's just with artifacts and shit, because people always go, oh, we just now found this. It's like, no, you didn't just now find it, you probably had it for a while and we're trying to figure out what it was before anyone else did. um I mean, I think that happened today too, like Mozart. I think a piece of music from Mozart got discovered today, and I doubt that it's been discovered today because a lot of Mozart's music resonates a lot with the chakras system. I forgot what symphony it was. I think it's Symphony 51 or 52 that really awakens people spiritually. It's like the frequencies, the way the song is played, like genuinely, like bro was not making music to make music. He was doing it full on spiritually, like, when you cannot see with your physical eyes, your whole life is completely spiritual. It doesn't even matter if you believe in it or not. You just full on become spiritual because you don't have anything physical to relate to. All you have is what is, and that is God, is spiritual. So that's all you have to connect to. You have to learn how to trust yourself in that. You know what I mean? Um, but going on to the 13th month, we're going to talk about the 13th zodiac. I don't know how to pronounce it very well. I'm not good at pronouncing words. Ophiuchus. I'm going to say Ophiuchus. But with Ophiuchus, it's very interesting. And I have a bunch of photos and stuff too. But Ophiuchus. Let me get my notes up because I need to like fucking, yeah, here we are. Yeah, Ophiuchus, the serpent barrier. Ophiuchus represents, I can't say these names at all. Alpheus, the Greek god of medicine and doctors. Many healers, shamans, and root workers have this sign in positions, as well. Uh, and it's very like oh my god, I don't have that picture. And it's very like oh my god, I don't have that picture, do I? I do not. Hard. All right, I was gonna show you that, but I don't have it. But excuse me when I'm doing this. Holy shit. I lost my place. I'm sorry. This is so scattery because this is not how I planned it to be, but we be patient over here. Where did I leave off? Oh my god, I can't even. Nah, they don't want me doing this right now. They just do not want me talking about this shit right now. They've got me lost. But right, they did this as well. Like another reason why they did this. And I found this out. I'm just going to talk about this. I'm going to just let spirit lead me because fuck the notes. If I can't focus on it, whatever. But when I was focusing on this, I was doing a lot of meditation with my guides on this, and I found out that Ophiuchus, since there are the 13 zodiacs and the 12 zodiacs that we know of, and you can compare the 12 zodiacs to the 12 disciples in Jesus, but it's the one thing that people don't really notice. It's like the Holy Trinity. Here, I even have the photo. I can just show you it, actually. Do I not have it up? Oh my god, I don't have it up. So let me go find it real quick. It's in my folders somewhere. But the Holy Trinity is actually the 13th zodiac. That is you. You are the 13th zodiac, as you are the healer. You are the one that come down here and heal. Zodiacs are all about you. You know, you usually have all zodiacs in your chart, regardless, because of your houses and shit. Just how it works. You are the star map. Everyone has that. You know, all the zodiacs. It's just how it is. And Ophiuchus is you. Because even on the Dendera tablets, I don't know if y'all have looked at the Dendera tablets and the Hathor tombs. Um, I would definitely look at the Dendera tablets, because the symbol in the middle, the reason why it's a sun, is because it's for the month Soul. It's the system that it's built off of. It's the soul. You, the soul, get it? Are Ophiuchus. That's you, the healer, the shaman, the root worker. You are here, and when you are aware, when you wake up, when you see who you are and who you're supposed to be on your life, the 13th zodiac, quote unquote, unlocks. But it's not that it's like hidden or blocked. It's just unaware. And that awareness is where the heart is, because that's where the sacred energy would be. That's the most purest place you can be. That's where the divine enters. The divine enters through your heart. It's the only place it can enter. It can't enter through your thought, through your head. Your thoughts are too busy. They run too much. Your subconscious is 24/7. It can't go there with peace and purity. It needs to be split up. I mean, here we go. We'll talk about it here, because I even have the tarot deck next to me, because I was getting a bunch of stuff. Where is the Ace of Cups? I'll talk about it again, because we talked about it before, but it's just gonna make it easier. But with the Ace of Cups, and if you have the Ace of Cups, you know, if you have a tarot deck next to you, just, you know, if you want to, you can pull it out and look at it. It just helps. It just helps understand. But with the Ace of Cups, like again, it's the dove going into the cup. The cup has a W on it, which is actually an M for mother, Mary Mother. The Virgin cup is being virgined. It's being pure. The water has fresh lily pads in the bottom of it. It's alive. It's healthy. It's divine water. It's divine wisdom. The dove, representing the divine, giving you quartered. It has to be split up into four spits, into the feeling, the energy. Well, first off, it needs to split up into fuel, the energy. The way it gets to you is with energy, the soul. It needs to create that energy. You know, the energy's there, but it needs to be put into you. That energy creates a feeling that enters your heart. So it goes from the wands to the cups. The cups are the emotions, the wands the fire. Fire is what builds up. It's what gets you to go. It's your fuel. It's your energy. You know, that goes to your swords. That feeling then goes and becomes a thought. That thought can either control your feelings, or your feelings can continue to control your thoughts and lead you down the path that the divine's leading you down, which is the swords. And then the swords go to the pinnacle, which is your physical reality. So either you listen to your feelings and you go the way the divine tells you, or you go the other way, and that just defines where your pinnacle lands. But it is, you know, your heart is the only pure place it can be, because your heart is the only thing that can feel. Your brain cannot feel. Your brain can create an emotion, and all an emotion is an energy in motion. And that energy that is in motion is a feeling that the thought is driving, when the thought should not be driving a feeling, because it doesn't even know what the fuck a feeling is. It just knows that it relates to something on the physical, which is not it at all. That's what it wants to think, but that's not true. The feeling that has nothing to do with anything physical, and has everything to do with something spiritual inside of you. Because you can put someone in a room with two people in a room, and they'd react completely differently, and that's just based off their soul. It's based off of who they are. It's not because the reality is different. The reality is the same. It's the character that matters, you know. But the story of Ophiuchus was he was raising dead men for money, which disrupted the natural order of things. Zeus struck him with a lightning bolt. But later, Ophiuchus was placed in heaven for the work that he done, because Zeus began to kind of realize what was going on. And I haven't done too much digging on it, but from what I was meditating on and what I was trying to get to the bottom of, it just really seems like, again, like a dualities thing, where it's like something is viewed as bad and wrong because it disrupts the order, but that needs to happen. Like, that chaos needs to almost happen. There's no good or bad. There's just that is just, this is, you know, everything has to happen in that way. But Even again with this path of like Zeus striking, Ophiuchus down, and then later Ophiuchus being brought to heaven and to the heavens. I mean, you can see that how like for many healers are casted down this path. Shamans are like the light workers are all casted down this same path because they are aware of who they are. They understand the power, but yet they don't use it correctly. So then they have to be struck down. You aren't using your power correctly, so we can't let you go out and willy-nilly use it. And it's not because, oh, these other people are, so you can't. It's just you and your state, your character, who your soul is, does not do that. Your soul does not go out and ruin people's life for fun and giving. You give love, and love is very strong. So it's very important to learn how to control that love. You're struck down by love. You're shown the lack of love to get you prepared not only for the effect that it might have on someone else, but the effect it's going to have on you when you end up taking the first step to splitting from someone, because that emotion's still going to be there. It's trying to get you not used to it, but aware of it to see how it's going to affect you, so you're able to move forward. But a lot of charts also end up being a contradiction because of this as well. But again, like the charts aren't wrong, they're not right either. There's just parts of them that are missing. It's just the contradiction part is kind of hard to like decipher, and it's only because like of that part of the soul of you, because it's the sun that matters, not the rest of the chart. That's a lot of things that like astrology is kind of figuring out. Like, yes, it's accurate, but there's a lot of hold on, I can't even think and like hold my phone up. But here's some pictures of the constellations and stuff that I was getting as well when I was just doing the research. And he's there on the serpent, as well as serpents. And this is interesting, since I even showed it, I kind of have to turn it this way again. So it's with serpents, right? We understand serpents and stuff, and you see it on like the two of cups here, the two serpents there. I forgot how to pronounce it, but the symbol. And then here it is again on the wheel of fortune. This the serpent. Whenever you see a serpent or snake, though, it's representing health. It's representing life. It's representing a sine wave. It's the symbol of a sine wave. If you know what a sine wave, and I can just do this real quick. This is why I wish the OBS was working, man. It would have been so much cooler. Where's the sine wave? Yeah, but here, it's right there. That's the rod of Ophiuchus, the god that Ophiuchus represents, the constellation. And then there's the health symbol. You see how it's two with the one in the middle. You only have one string. You're being solo. With this, you're connecting with yourself. The masculine and the feminine come together, giving you wings, making you divinely connected, higher wisdom, higher knowing, fully healed, fully connected. While as this is just one snake controlling all this, but without any wisdom. So this is wisdom, and anytime you see wings, it's wisdom. Wisdom is different than intelligence. Intelligence is dangerous. Wisdom is not. Wisdom comes from the divine. Wisdom is pure. Wisdom is the feminine trait, if you want to think of it that way. But the where's it at? It's in my notes somewhere because I have it here. Yeah, the intelligence or intel or data is very robotic. It's very fatal. And it, when you use intelligence, it's like a shortcut. And an example that my teacher gave me, I'll just use it too. And if you don't know, my teacher is his name on YouTube is the Spiritual Hobo. Go check him out, please God. He is one of the he's cracking this stuff a lot open, and I'm learning a lot from him, and he's leading me down a different path than I thought I would be on. But we're here. But with the example that he gave me, it's you could be working on a car, right? And you bring your toolbox under a car, but then you need a hammer, right? And instead, and you're thinking there, like you immediately get the divine puts in your heart, I need to get a hammer to, get this nail in. But then you're looking around and you see like, oh, I have the end of this wrench, I could use the end of this wrench, or I could use like this rock or whatever, because you just don't want to crawl out. You want to be lazy, you want to take a shortcut. You know the exact tool you need, but you're like, I don't want to do that because I'm lazy. That's the point. I mean, that's the truth of it too. You kind of have to get into the energy of being honest with yourself in that way. It's like the shortcut's there because I just don't want to put in the full energy to do that. I'm just not fully invested in it. Um, and that leads to like fatal. That's fate. The intelligence leads you to fate because you think you can outsmart something, but the smart guy always outsmarts himself. It's wisdom that you need. The wisdom is what fulfills. Intelligence just gives you data, but wisdom allows you to see where that data is actually, other than just numbers. It's the experience. But yeah. And again, it's like even talking about that even goes to like levels of consciousness. And we'll skim on this a little bit. We're jumping around a lot. This is just how class goes. Let me just tell you, it's intuitive. Um, but ego is thought consciousness. That's the thing that has to be understood. Is ego is thought consciousness. It's not this thing where it's like next to your heart or next to your soul. It's literally ego and the divine. That's literally what it is. Because without your heart, you're not using your heart, you're using nothing but your ego, but your brain. You're not really feeling anything. You just think that you can do anything and nothing really works. You don't know why because you're not really seeing it for what it is. You're just looking at it and being like, oh, I need to do this then, rather than really investing itself into it. But but humans are in between animal consciousness and divine consciousness. Animal consciousness being the first stage of consciousness, and divine consciousness being the third stage or the final stage, also known as the third eye. Full perceive, being able to perceive everything with a spiritual eye, not a physical eye. But the animal is the first consciousness at birth. That's like the beginning stages of things. Human consciousness is the second level, and that's you can kind of I guess I mean I don't you couldn't. It's not gonna fit for everyone, but you can kind of gauge that human consciousness kicks in around middle school, high school, I guess. I'm not really too sure, so don't quote me for sure on it, but you can imagine like your high school, middle school experience being that human consciousness, experiencing what it is to like exist, and at least having enough comprehension to not get overstimulated at like at certain things, you know what I mean? Or like he's still acting out in a very human way, rather I don't know how else to describe it, but I know y'all understand. It's a very like adolescent energy almost, you know what I mean? But then divine consciousness is the third eye, third level of seeing. But going back to the rod, excuse me for doing that, we go off on trails all the time. But the rod of Ophiuchus. And here's a sine wave, by the way. I'll show you a picture of a sine wave. This is literally a sine wave. You can see, it's really just a symbol of a snake. It's just how it is. But the rod is literally also the sign for the money, which is kind of funny, knowing that he was killed for making money off of reviving people, right? So that's kind of funny how the symbol for health is also the symbol for money, right? And that's kind of like a wordplay thing. And here's a serpent as well I have. I don't think I need any of that up, so I'm gonna get rid of that. That's the moon cycle stages. I know I posted this before, but that's like the moon cycle and sun cycle stuff. I believe we're in this sun cycle, if I'm not too mistaken. Or like this moon cycle. We're in this one of these two phases. We're in one of those two phases. But regardless, these subliminal like images that we just kind of intake day by day, we don't realize what they're trying to show us. But again, this is how they don't get in trouble. This is why karma isn't affecting these people, and it's because instead of us being all unaware, we're aware, we're just not conscious of it. We're asleep still. We look at things, but we don't think of them as anything. We bat our eyes like, oh, that's just nothing. No, everything has a meaning for it. Like everything does, and you don't have to believe it, but like even the smallest of ants and animals have a purpose. Like even like there are I don't know, man. You can just do your research on that one. I don't have to do much explaining about it. But it's super important to know that everything happens, and everything has a meaning. Everything has an original meaning. Everything has a root, an origin, and then everything has translations as well. And that's what is kind of the issue right now. Is we have so many translations for so many things that don't really need that many translations, that it becomes this really big gray area, which happens on the 3D. Um, but the gray area isn't supposed to be acknowledged, because that gray area is that very awkward. It's the energy, especially with empaths. It's that the gray area is really when you feel like you have to put on mask and take off mask, and you have all these like different friend groups that wouldn't get along with each other if you put them together, but you get along with them as well. Like that's the splitting of the energy. And that's kind of what being aware with like all these symbolisms and stuff. It's all just like trying to get you down to one point. And it's weird because, you know, we're going to talk about word magic going into it, but it's weird that everything kind of is in our faces like that, and we sit around and wonder why things are happening. It's because it's again, it's just a huge game that plays out. But with word magic, we're going to jump into word magic because I've been dying to talk about word magic for a while. I'm not even joking. I've been going hog wild because there's so much about word magic. First of all, understanding how important words are. It's it goes a lot deeper than what people would want to think. Because with words, even though you may consciously agree with that a word meaning something, subconsciously you understand what that word actually means. That's why, and I'm going to use it because it's the biggest example. That's why people get so upset when you go good morning. You might say good morning, but when your subconscious hears the word morning, it's going to think about someone mourning. It's going to think about that weird energy. It's there because when you mourn, that's what you do. You rise. You don't wake up. I mean, I hope you don't wake up and like cry. I mean, I don't know. But like you rise out of bed. You don't mourn. I really hope you don't mourn out of bed. I really hope you don't mourn out of bed. That's horrible. I mean, if you do, like, it, just go through the process and heal yourself, baby. You got it. But like, other than that, you rise. We're gods and goddesses. We're kings and queens. We rise. We don't fucking mope around. We rise. That's what we do. And the same thing with like, oh God, what's another good one? There's so many. There are so many. And that's the hard part because I can't pinpoint one that would be good other than just like, you know, different sounding words as well. Like those also count. And it's less about spell work and more about, you know, confusion. It's just trying to keep people in this energy of everything's hard on purpose, so you have to try harder to do things when you don't actually have to try that hard at all. The language we have is so confusing for a reason. Like, it's just regardless. Oh, here it is, television. That's what I was thinking about. Thank you, Spirit. Another one is television. When you spit up television, vision tells lies visually. You are literally watching, visualizing people lie to you, and then you like intake that and take it as truth, because when we see what we see as reality TV shows, what we don't understand is that reality is reality. It is not first. It is secondary, as is second ality, ALELAL, God living secondary experiences. God inside experiencing what it has created as a secondary, as a physical. You know what I mean? Spiritual comes first. Physical comes second. I don't know really what comes third. But it is important to know that. And it's like it's gross. And as well as like Uncle Sam. We'll talk about Uncle Sam for a second, because the Uncle Sam one is just ridiculous, dude. I don't know how many people know about this, but I think a few people will know about this. But the Uncle Sam one being U.S. Samuel, you know, us Samuel being literally the devil's name, Samuel. Uncle Sam wants you, your soul. Uncle Sam wants you to work for him because he wants your fucking soul, your energy. He's literally just energy harvesting off of you. It's all there. It really is. And you can even, like, at the time periods when this stuff happened, why? Like, it's all there. It's just this energy of the ego and of the physical reality where it feels like, because I mean, because especially if you've been raised in, I'm just gonna talk about like as it is. So, especially if you've been raised in America, like going into public schools in America, you can't have a straight opinion about things like this without being looked at as like a terrorist or like as like a non-supporter, which is like weird. But again, it's like this materialistic fear that keeps us in this bubble of like, oh, let's not talk about these things, because then if we talk about them, these things are gonna like make us look weird. It's like, no, it's there. They know what they're doing, and it's a whole scheme to where they play it, and they know, like, the ones that know all about this shit, they're gonna look crazy. They're gonna look stupid, and that's their whole goal. Like, oh, look how stupid and crazy you look. No one's gonna believe you. But then here we are, like almost 3-4 years away from shit hitting the fan, and everyone knows about it, and they're still trying to like, no, you're crazy. You're crazy. What do you mean I'm crazy, bitch? If I'm crazy, then half the population's crazy too. I don't know what to tell you, because we're all seeing it. It's all in front of us. It's happening to everyone. It's just a matter of how open you are to seeing it. And another wordplay thing, and this one I found out myself, and it was interesting. But so whenever I say I always spell it out EYE, because again, you're 3, not 1. And the I with the single man with the stick head is like an egoic thing. It makes you feel alone. It singleizes you. When you're 3, you are the body, the mind, and the soul. You are literally 3 in 1. You cannot be one thing. You are 3 in 1. You're not one thing. You're 3. Always understand that. And I is a 2D symbol. Well, the letter I is the 2D symbol for EYE, and you can do it. I mean, I did it. I can't show you because fucking shit's not gonna work. But I took I put it in Blender, and I just typed it out, and then I rotated it. It's there, like it's all there, but it's making you see things at a face value that the world wants you to see. All letters are symbols, and I've gotten to this point even in my journey. I don't even read words as words. I see them as individual symbols, and I almost have to like rotate them to see what they're trying to say put together. You know what I mean? Because we're in a 3D world, but we look at things so like 2D that we get stuck in this like black and white reality when it's really like a spectrum. It's not even really a gray area. There is no gray, because it's showing you the full beret of colors. It's a spectrum. It's showing you everything. It's unleashing its full value to you. So it's just, we have to really take that into accountability when it comes to symbolisms, when it comes to anything, because we look these things over. We don't think of them as being important, as being significant to us, but then we also go towards these exact same symbolisms to feel our needs, or to assist us, or things of that nature. So it's very important to like know what symbol you're going towards. Like the McDonald's symbol, that's literally that's Baal's arc. Like that is Baal's arc. I mean, that one's a fun one to look at, but it's all there. Like it's in I forgot what black magic book it's in, but it's in one of them, and you can literally see the arc of Baal in there, and it's the McDonald's symbol, like verbatim. It's like awful, and the reason it's yellow and red is because it attracts your root chakra and your fucking your sacral. It keeps you in that sluggish, low vibration energy. Like, it's just awful. And that kind of brings me to being aware of like watching out for foods and shit. Like really allowing the divine to show you what's going on, because there's a lot of shit being exposed, and it's a game of free will. And I'm gonna tear the cover off of this for you. If there is something that you've been looking for that is like on your path that you're trying to research, it's a free will decision to find it. And I'll break it down, because it's not the fact that you're looking for it wrong, but there's something inside of you that's trying to push you another way. That frustration or that anxiety, that like pantsy energy when you're looking for these things is trying to get you to step back and to read the energy. When you get these intense buildups of energy, even when researching things, when talking to people, when even just experiencing life itself, when you feel that push of energy, you just have to like take it in and like inhale and just feel the energy. Let the energy talk to you because it's trying to show you you're upset that you're looking for this thing and you can't find it. You should be looking for it in a different way, maybe using different keywords. Maybe you should just take a break. Maybe this was a seed for you to take and you allowed that seed to become a thought too soon and it wasn't able to flourish, you know. um but being aware of those things heavily and not allowing fear to get to you, because the because I've kind of come to like my own conclusion on this as well. Just, because if I was someone who was running this game show, and let's just be real, if you're tapped in, you know how to run this game frontwards and backwards. It's not even nothing. You know what I mean? But if I was someone running this game, I think my final failsafe would to just be expose everything and to indoctrinate so much fucking fear that it locks certain people into positions who are not able to go up and evolve. So they're actually having people soul suck on this realm so no one else can fucking move on. I feel like that's what's gonna happen. Cause that's things have to come out. They're already coming out regardless. But I genuinely I can't shake it off because it's been on my heart for a while. But I feel like the final shebang is they're really just gonna unleash everything, like uncensored documents and shit that people been looking for, and it's going to shock fear. But at that point, it's those people that are locked in that fear of, oh God, I've been lied to my whole life. They're going to carry that trauma, so it still locks people in. It's still the game of, you know, a cat and dog that's going to be played, but it's not going to be as severe because I think we're at like 98% dissatisfied right now, with like a 1% or something, or like I think it's something like that. But there's like an undecided or like percentage as well. But um, the percentage that needs to become aware. And here's the funny part about being aware: people think that being aware means that you have to be spiritual or that you have to be connected to God. Being aware just means you got to know what's going on. You just have to understand that everything's been lied to you. That's really the only thing. It's less about spirituality. Yes, spirituality will lead you down this path because it allows you to find who you are, but just being aware is the main key. That's why a lot of people are aware that don't like spiritualist people. It's not that they're unaware; they're just not as aware as they would like to be, or as they deem themselves to be. Which is fine. We all have our own time to grow, you know. But it's just important to like soak these things in, because especially, god dang, dude, with word magic, man, just saying certain words, and as well as word magic on the power of you, the power of your tongue. Um, when you say something, when you project that out of you, um, it changes things of everything about you. You know, as it says, even in scriptures, not even just the Bible, but in any religious or spiritual text. You know, the power of life and death is always in the tongue. You will resuscitate things with your tongue. You will end them with your tongue. You will create relationships. You will end relationships. You will start up things. You will start to slow down on things. You will change people's minds. You will like the power of words and your voice and the tongue is so slept on and so not understood. What? I'm sorry. That's a good. That has to resonate. What is that? Is that a meerkat or something? I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on, but spirit's throwing stuff at me, and I'm just kind of riding with it. Um, that's a mongoose. What the heck does a mongoose mean? Why am I connecting with the mongoose energy? I don't know. If someone can look up what mongoose energy is, I don't know. I'm connecting with it some way. My my laptop internet is off. That's what I've been dealing with forever. They keep turning the Wi-Fi off on the laptop for some reason. I don't know. It's fucking weird. But regardless, um, it's so important because like because it's like it's different from thinking something. You can be like, oh, I won't get far in my career, and you can think that. But when you say those things, subconsciously it becomes a truth. Consciously it becomes a truth. It doesn't become a mongooses eat snake, huh? Well, that I mean that kind. I'm here. I gotta take a break. Hold on, cause this is what's staring at me. I can't. I'm trying to concentrate, but that's staring at me. So I'm like pulling up tabs and trying to block it from my vision. I'm sorry, y'all. Um, I that's just what happens. I'm just all over the place. I'm just so happy and like energetic and just I'm Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, fucking air energy. I'm all over the place. You know how it is. You know how it is. Um, but it's so important to know that those things become fact once they come out of your mouth. Once you produce, use the energy within your vessel that the divine has given you to create. That's a meerkat? Oh, word. Okay, it's not a mongoose, it's a meerkat. Okay, word. I thought it was a meerkat at first. I don't know why I thought it was a mongoose after. I guess it's like smaller head or something. Um, but, um, Jeez, I can't, like, it just keeps happening. Can we let some Palo Santo up in here? Can we, like, get these people away from me? There's no way. What the fuck? They really don't want me clearing the energy. Nah, that's wild. Come on. Get out of here. Clear the energy. Leave. Get out of here. Whoever this energy is, this spirit, this rascallian reptilian thing, I need you to leave, child. You in the wrong area. Child, I don't think they understand who I prayed to before this fucking message, man. La Madama, baby. La Madama is working with me. So you got your karmic spirit watch out and stay away, Mitch. Okay? We got the Ogoons, the Oshuns over here. You piss off, okay? They brought you here. They take you out. You better watch out. They ain't playing around. No, but we love it. We love it over here. But it's so important to know that because the energy that the divine gives you to create has the same power to destroy. That's the duality. That's what you just have to realize, and you have to make that harmony by understanding. I understand that by me saying I can't do this prevents me from doing it. Prevents me from creating that energy because then I say I can't create that frequency. So I have to understand that that's the negative side. That's the killing of it. But the positive side is I can do it. Either way, it's going to be a struggle. Either way, it's going to be a climb. It's not going to be, an easy road. It's going to have lessons. It's going to have things that you need to grow from. And if if you've already grown from those things, they're going to be thrown at you again to see if if you need to learn from new or, take you down a different path or however. But it's so important to understand that. Because I've talked to a lot of people about it as well, and I'm always like, you can't be saying that you can't do this or that you're failing at that or that's not going to work, because these things that have been like ingrained in us end up making us manifest these awful realities that we live in. Not letting the 3D define you anymore. It's the 3D is what makes you not happy. It's not what you're doing that doesn't make you happy. It's what you're experiencing in reality that's not making you happy. And that's just showing you that there's something inside of you that needs to be looked at. Maybe it's like a different mindset. Maybe it's an elevated mindset. Maybe it's just backing away, not taking that type of fight. Maybe you're just taking on certain fights that you don't need to take on, which is why you've created certain, like, and I'm not saying it's anyone in here, but just in general, it might be someone like, you've been going through a lot of stuff, and all these things have been turning out the exact way you've been wanting them to, because there's been lessons that you need to be learning from there. And it's like, man, they don't want me talking. I don't know what's going. They don't want me talking about this stuff for today. They don't want me lighting Palo Santo. They don't want me talking, man. Spirits just don't want me talking about wordplay because I'm going to crack code on you. I'm about to crack. I'm getting close to something. I feel it because every time I get close to it, my brain fades off. And it's not the divine because I'm not being told nothing, because I know they'd be up here and be like, hey, we don't need you telling this. It's something else. I don't know. It's an interference for sure. Because I've been having interference. I know there's someone who don't want me speaking about shit. Because they stuck in that illusion. They don't want to pop out yet. That's okay. But regardless. As well as that, like talking to other people as well. Talking down on other people. that also affects your subconscious in any type of way, shape, or form. And that's something that as well needs to be known as well, because what you will tell someone in your subconscious will then come back and hit you. And on the healing journey, damn, why are they stopping me from talking about this? What the fuck? Someone really doesn't want me talking about that. I don't know why. Every time. It's getting on my nerve. It's getting on my final nerve. I don't know what to do about it. I'll ring the bell then. Fuck it, we ring the bell. You got the bell ringing now. Now we gotta get some summonings up in here, but it's so important to know that it affects your subconscious as well. Because when you say something to someone, your subconscious doesn't recognize that it's talking to anyone. It thinks it's talking to you, because that's that's who you talk to. You talk to yourself. You're able to give yourself advice in these ways. That's why you're able to respond to yourself. It's these things are given to you for a reason. They're not meant to be avoided. But you need to really I don't know how else I can describe it, because it's just it's such an importance, and I'm trying to lower the fucking thoughts coming through so I can listen to the divine right now, because it's the subconscious, since the subconscious controls 95% of what you do. The subconscious, damn, they don't want me doing anything. Hold on, let me sit here and tune in for a second. Let me sit in here and tune in for a second. Okay, so since the subconscious is 95% of the human conscious, and it's based off of the ages from what is it, 3 to 7? I'm seeing 3 to 7 years, because that's been your when you're in your theta brainwave is what I'm trying to get at. When you're in your theta brainwave state, which is in your childhood when you're first born and stuff, that's been your most easily not brainwashed, I shouldn't say that, that's a thought, but more easily converted to certain things. That's why certain people will play classical music around their children when they're young, because it allows their brain to develop. It's that theta wave that allows the development of the brain to happen. And usually within the theta brain state, since there is not much true consciousness or true awareness, there are a lot of mistakes made, and we are taught from a young age, depending on how we were raised, that those mistakes were life impending, based off of the response of the punishment we got. And we operate off of that same fear, thinking that same reaction is going to happen from other people, and that's part of the subconscious healing. That's part of these word spell breaking, is because the word spell breaking doesn't have to really do with anyone telling you certain things. The word spell has to do with actions that have been taken upon you, that then you have to reason out and give a reason for why they had to happen. And that's that spell that gets put under. That's the word spell, is you give a meaning to something that shouldn't have a meaning. There shouldn't have been a reason for you getting struck for not knowing a math question. The you being wrong doesn't mean you get to be punished. But that's the words that you entail. That's what you get. That's the intelligence. That's the intel. That's the data that your brain gets. Your subconscious understands data. It doesn't get much else. It gets everything, but it has to come from the heart first. It goes from the heart to the subconscious, then to the conscious, because that feeling has to happen first. The energy has to come from somewhere, and it enters through the heart. So understand that as well. But it's that feeling that you get, that feeling that you don't understand how to control at that point, because again, it's not something that you're consciously aware of. It's you get that feeling, and the first thing that strikes is that fear, and the reaction of whatever's happening on the physical. And you end up telling yourself these things of like, oh, I did this action, so then I got hit, or then you hear, don't do that again, or this will happen. And all those patterns start building up and up, so then where you make a small mistake and that anxiety builds up, or you get tested on something and that anxiety builds up. And it's because of the way that you were treated within the theta wave mindset when growing up. Even when going through puberty, your brain almost hits that theta level again, because it almost it revamps you. It revamps your whole chemical balance. So then your brain has to end up in that theta wave to receive that, the vibrations of, oh, so this is what we're going to, this is where the hormones are going to, this is where we're swimming into. It allows you to get into this new groove, which is why a lot of people, when they're going through puberty, when their hormones get increased, that it becomes anger, it becomes all these other feelings that are being, all these emotions, I should say, that are being fueled by like exteriors and things of that nature. But yeah, we get taught to dull our feelings, and we got taught to dull our feelings, and that is seen, and funnily enough, and it's not really funnily, but the reason we as humans are not acknowledging our feelings is because man has still yet to realize just how important woman is. And that man cannot do it all. And that's an ego thing, because the rational mind wants to, oh, I can do anything. No, you fucking can't. Give birth. Give life to something. You can't do that. Nurture something. You don't know how to nurture it because you work on it. That's the masculine energy. The feminine energy is the nurturing, the birth giving, the water bearer. The woman is the spiritual. The man is the physical. That is literally how it is. Whether it's from the representation of emotions and feelings being the feminine and the thought being the masculine, however it is, it's that pattern. It's what is implanted. It is what's encoded within the body, within the natural states of the universe, of the galaxy, of the cosmos. You cannot have man without woman. That is why in a lot, and I think I have a, do I even? I bet I do somewhere. That is why in all these like esoteric like drawings that you see, or anything that like relates to with alchemy, why it has a man and a woman in it, because it's showing you that there's two parts of you and you're not recognizing one. Where's that one at? Because that one photo is a really good one and I love using it. Squaring the circle. Yes, here it is. Squaring the circle. I love this image because this image right here is the perfect one. This is you. You are in a circle. The circle is you. You have the two sides, the feminine, the masculine. You see? This is you. This is why the right hand is pointing at the square, at you in the circle, right? You're squared. You're trapped in this box, right? So within this square, you hear hippies all the time. Don't be square. Don't just rule with your iron fist. You have another side to you. The reason the triangle is here is you need to triangulate. You need to remove the top of the box that you have. Let me zoom in. The top of that box, the top of that square needs to be gone. That is what keeps you in. That's what holds you in from being able to triangulate to see a bigger picture, because what you're not seeing is what you fully are. What you're seeing is what you've been encapsulated in. What you are fully is a divine trinity that is encapsulated by a circle. You are encapsulated by the divine while being in tune with who you truly are. Until you are in tune with who you truly are, you are going to be stuck inside this square and not seeing the world for how it is, or seeing beyond the barriers of reality. That's why the left hand is pointing at the top of the circle, representing the divine, the entirety of what is, of what can be, with the exterior of the wall being another square, everything else on the outside. As once you leave that circle, there is always going to be another square to look at. There's going to be another roof to take off, because once you triangulate and you see the bigger picture from things, you're gonna have new ideas. That's why there's so much new land. There's so much things outside of the circle that aren't there. That seashell right there. There's so much to explore, and that keeps you in this box again. It keeps you again in this box of like, oh, these are new, bigger things. And again, like there's this bigger world, And you can even think of this as being you, as the ego. You know that there's more out there, but yet you also know that you're stuck here within that circle between your two. And I think the masculine is, no, The masculine is looking at the feminine, but it's the feminine is, the masculine has to come to the feminine. That's the thing. The masculine has to move, as the spirit doesn't have to do anything. Spirit, when with the feminine, is always with God. The feminine are always the feminine side, the emotions, the divine palace is always with the divine. They're always with God. It's divine's already seen God. It doesn't need to do anything. The feeling doesn't have to go anywhere. The feminine doesn't have to do a damn thing. It's the masculine that must build up the courage to work towards the emotion, to work towards that feeling. And that's the whole issue. And you can see that within toxic masculinity. You can see that within pimps and hoes. That's the same reason why, because your thought consciousness, your masculine side of yourself, will pimp out your feelings, and use that energy for things that it's not supposed to be used for. You receive an idea from the divine, because, oh, divine, oh God, I need some money real quick. I need like $500 real quick. Give me $500, divine. What do I need to do to receive my $500? They give you that idea to receive $500. Maybe you want to buy a bicycle, right? And then you go get that bicycle, right? Well, no, you don't get the bicycle. You get the $500, excuse me. But then you're faced with an option of getting the bicycle or spending that $500 on anything else. If you allow your feelings to not be pimped, or controlled by your thoughts, then you would go get the bicycle. But what usually happens is we get that income, and then I have all these other things to spend this energy on rather than this that I really wanted to do, that I knew was going to take me somewhere better. But I have all these other things that like aren't giving me joy, that I'm still focusing and needing to put energy into. Like, oh, like I don't really need to like DoorDash something, but I might as well. And then that takes something off. And, oh, well, since I'm already doing that, I should go buy this too. And it distracts you. It takes you away from what the divine was going to give you. It pips that energy out. It gives you the emotion, which is a fog mirror, really, of what's really going on. And your thoughts are telling you, yeah, this is good, you enjoy this. But then when that ends, when you no longer have those things to do, and you look back at the thing you really wanted to do, you no longer have the energy, the supplies, whatever, for that. And it's because your thoughts had then just pimped out your feelings, and the energy that you get received from the divine to do what it wanted to do, rather than what would truly needed to happen. um and a lot of, and like, again, that's just with spells as well, with commercials and TV and shit, where they'll get you to buy all these like useless things. And it's to keep you in this um lack mentality, and this poverty mentality. Everything costs so much, but it's because people keep buying more, and it's this inflation thing where the bubble pops and then everyone loses shit and everyone gets scared and it builds up again. But um it's super important. And as well as moving forward, I've been getting a lot of downloads for this from spirit. But moving forward, um it doesn't matter how much material money you have, because the world is becoming more spiritual. It's waking up. You know, it's all about the spiritual bank. And a lot of people are going to be very upset at how fast their lives are going to almost reverse, because they chose the intelligent way, the scammy way out. Um, yeah, you don't have to consume though. That's the thing. It's something that we feel like we have to, and it's again because we when we're faced with things of like, oh, we have to learn how to do this, we have to learn how to do that, we have to go have all these things for that. Those thoughts almost scare us. And it puts that blockage of, oh, we can't do those things because without all these other things we're unable to do it. But it's a gradual thing. Being a consumer is hard not to do, because you had to do it all yourself, and that's what a lot of people are doing. But being a consumer isn't necessarily a bad thing either. Um, Again, the laws of duality. For if you need something, you need something, and the divine will give you it to need it. So don't feel bad for being a consumer, because that's again part of the weird guilt fear trip that they send you down of, oh, so you're spending all this money and you feel bad, so let me give you more money to spend on stuff that you don't need, or let me give you more energy to do things. You know what I mean? So don't really worry about being a consumer. Be more worried about what you are consuming, because you're always going to be a consumer, because you're always consuming stuff, like whether you are consciously aware of it or not, like radio waves, frequencies, UV lights, everything, dude. You're always consuming something. You're always going to be a consumer of something. It's not all about the physical, it's everything. It's not just the physical, it's the spiritual. And that's the duality. That's the whole masculine not looking at the feminine. That's the looking at 3D rather than looking at spirit. That's the disconnect that we work on, that we begin to attach together to really move forward and to see things. So it's like, it's again like these things are always good, and it's even good that you even notice that about. I mean, I'm not trying to call you out or anything, but it's really good that you notice that even yourself. Like, I don't really want to be a consumer and all this stuff, because it allows you to see like that exact point. You get to see both sides. Like, you know what, I see that, but it's like, how am I going to do that now? Now that I understand, and even now that I mean, you might have understood before that too, but it's more of just how are you going to move forward with this, and that's this hard part, because that's something that we as people cannot do. We've been so far away from nature that we are scared of nature. The term homeless scares people, and that's horrible. Like, we used to live in nature, and now we think being out in nature is scary and horrible. And it's only because man's made it that way, because man has built so much shit on top of nature that there's not much nature really to have. Yeah, you know? But it's that disconnect. That's why we need to step into nature more, because it's something that, it's where we're born. We're not, you know, we're not of a house, we're not of a building, we are of nature. We come from the exact elements that made nature. It is what it is. It's carbon for some of us, you know, for others it's not. Um, but for the nine ethers, it's carbon, it's the melanin. And if for others, it's the clay, it's the soil. It's the, however, it's wherever you came from. You know, there's multiple galaxies. Not even just being here. It's like, where were you? Like, where did you come down from? Where did your flesh originate from? Where did the soil come from? Is the whole thing. But um, regardless, um, I feel like that's the message. I feel like I've got everything out. Have I got everything out? Let me check real quick. Yeah. Okay. I've got everything out. See, that's what I meant. I used to live like, oh my god, I used to live in the woods, not in the woods, but I used to live like in my childhood house was right next to the woods, like right behind it. I was up in the woods 24/7. You would not would not catch me inside. I'd be outside 24/7. It'd be awful. It was awful. It wasn't awful, but it was like every night it was my mom or dad screaming, "Can you get back in the house?" And like 9 o'clock at night, I'm like, "No, I don't want to. I want to stay outside." It was fun, but regardless, I feel like that's this class. I feel like I've got a lot of it down. And the reason why I really wanted, I've been wanting to talk about other things, but the 13th month is so significant because that's this next big thing that's popping out, and it's so important just to get these things out like right as they're starting to come out, because that's when the energy is the most prevalent, that's when things are moving the most, and I want to be part of the energy that pushes this stuff out, because it needs to be known, it needs to be seen. And of course, it's like, it's something that's known, but now more and more evidence is coming out. Now more and more research is being put into it. It's no longer just, oh well, this is interesting. Like, no, it's a Greek mythology. And something interesting that I found, I don't know where I put the, but I found something interesting. For some of you might know it. I don't know. Where did it go? Oh no. Doesn't matter. Some of you know the deck. It's that constellation deck that I used like twice. That constellation's not in it for some reason. And I had to do research on it. It was made by Ridley, so I kind of understood why. But it's really about knowing the history. Oh, here it is. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, the map of the stars. Yeah, this deck doesn't have it in it for some reason, but it has all the other ones, which is weird. But regardless, that's been the reading. Not the reading. Okay, yeah, sure, the reading. Whatever. It's been class. It's been something. It's been interesting. I definitely knew I was gonna have a lot of restrictions. I didn't expect to do all the things I had to do, but we did it. We made it through. But regardless, that's the class. I love you all so much. Y'all know the drill on classes I don't promote. Everything's in the description. Check the description if you want anything. Regardless, I love you all so much. I will see you all later. Hopefully you learned something, and get prepared for next class, because we're gonna hopefully get on a continuous schedule. And if I can get this computer stuff to work, we're flying, because it's gonna be so much better. It was just not the best because I really had to like last second switch energies and be like, you know what, I can't record on I can't do it, I have to do it this way. So next one's a lot smoother, but who cares? We got the message out, we taught. But I love you all so much. Hopefully y'all learned. Keep doing research. as well, if you have anything that you're wanting me to like dig in and research about, email me about it, and I will see what I can do about it, as well, because it's always good to just learn, and I fucking love researching, so why not? But I love you all so much, always so much, and I will see you all later. Please take care.